Stay away from all those screenshots of Instagram and Telegram that say you that a person has made 10x profit.
How do investment bankers manage their own money, and what does your portfolio look like?
If you guys are planning to build up a career into top investment banking firms, into multinational firms, be it Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, you need to know about the
Initiative, which is a book you have authored, Driving Through the Rule Book of an Investor.
See, MBA में क्या हो रहा है? Like in this particular college, right? And I was the only student in my batch that time who wrote a research paper.
Hi everyone, welcome to our YouTube channel. I'm Arpita, the co-founder of Cashvisory, and we are on a mission to get every young professional to their first investments. Today we have a very interesting guest with us, Maurya Hanspal. Maurya is an asset management specialist at JP Morgan Chase & Company, a LinkedIn top voice, finance coach, and also the founder of Motivational Monetary Fundas. So this is going to be a very interesting conversation because we are going to find out what a typical day in the life of an investment banker looks like. And we also have a very interesting giveaway for our audience. So stay tuned, find our Easter egg, and you stand a chance to win an exclusive mentorship with Maurya himself. So Maurya, you've had a very interesting journey in finance education. You have trained more than 15,000 students, and now you're an investment banker. So welcome to the podcast, and tell us about yourself.
So first of all, thank you so much for having me here. It's my pleasure to join Cash Advisory for this podcast today. So thank you so much for that. So talking about my journey has been quite immense. It has been challenging. It has been like full of emotions, happiness, sadness, everything.
Yeah.
Right. So I started my journey through my teachings, right? Wow. So through my training programs. So I started that during my MBA time. At that time, I was about 20 years of age, right?
Wow.
So at that particular point of time, I developed a passion to train people, to guide people, to mentor people, right? And that came somehow because my journey of finance, though it started from class 6th, ideally, right? So it was class 10th, I used to prepare financial models for companies and do valuations for companies, hiding from my parents, of course.
Wow.
Because at that point of time, the parents would just be paying your school fee and tuition fee.
Yeah.
They don't want you to focus upon anything else, right, apart from your studies and academics, because 10th clear karni hai, right?
Yeah.
So I used to create models. I used to track markets. I started to understand Nifty, Sensex.
That's in 10th standard.
Correct.
Wow, that's amazing.
About different stocks, what Nifty is composed of, what Sensex is being composed of, and all these things. During my time of like graduation, I further refined these concepts into valuations, into modeling, into portfolio management, Excel, Tableau, Power BI, and all these stuffs. Then I joined my MBA from IBS Hyderabad, right?
Okay.
Till that point of time, I became confident into these fields of finance, derivatives, modeling, finance, security analysis, all these things. At that point of time, I used to solve all these questions in my MBA at just a glimpse.
Wow.
Right? I don't know, maybe God has given me that, my passion has given me that, my learnings gave me that or not. The students used to ask me, how are you able to solve that? Like all these questions in just a second or like in just a minute.
Yeah.
All my passions, all my skill sets, which I developed like over these past 3-4 years, like during my school times and graduation time, that helped me out in that.
Yeah.
Right? So I thought if the people are having some questions or doubts, then why not help them out? Right. Then why not mentor them out? I started a free batch, right? So like with my college people only, right? So that was like of my first year MBA people. I used to clarify like all their concepts free of cost. So that was a kind of a friendly relationship, a kind of a mentorship. Peer-to-peer learning, right? So people are coming together, they're asking me the questions and I'm helping to clarify their concerns, right? Days passed, months passed, correct? I started to create that batch from seniors as well and the juniors as well.
Now you're teaching people senior to you.
Correct. So once I came to my second year. And slowly like this evolved. Then batches from different colleges, from different universities.
Wow.
And people from the corporates also started to join, right? Then I thought that if I'm teaching people like all these concepts, then why not monetize it, correct? Because if a person is paying a certain fee for something, the person realizes the value for that.
Definitely.
Be it just a 1 rupee itself.
Definitely.
Correct. So from here, my journey started towards teaching, towards my venture. And then I landed into JP Morgan Chase and Company. So that was my campus placement,
Okay.
right? It's my first company I joined, and still I'm there into that company.
Amazing. And before that, you sort of already had a career in
Correct.
education in a way,
Correct.
right? In an age where most people are studying, you were already teaching your peers and your seniors. So, I mean, definitely, this was something which was a product of your passion as well as all the hard work you started from childhood. What I'm most curious to learn about is what is it that actually got you interested into finance at such a young age? Like, was there a certain exposure? Was your family into it? Like, how did you get into this?
That's a great question. The thing is, it started around class 6, as I told you, right? And the thing was, my family is having no background, like in finance,
Wow.
right?
Okay.
My father works in India
Surprising.
Bulls, right? He is the senior vice president and country head there. My mom is a lawyer, right, in Supreme Court. So no finance background,
Very far from it.
very far from it.
Yeah.
So the thing was, like during class 6, like once my father was watching some stock market news on Z Business or CNBC TV. I went to him, I asked him, what is all about? क्या हो रहा है ये सब? Right? So yeah, so he told me it's a stock market. People tend to buy and sell shares there, and they tend to make money. I thought, a good way to create money, a good way to be rich and wealthy. पैसा बनाते हैं, right?
Right.
Then उसके बाद से I started to understand those markets. So then my journey of like understanding stocks, Nifty, Sensex, like creation of financial modeling and valuation started.
Okay.
I used to hide myself from parents because parents used to think at a point of age of class 6, 7, 8, 9, 10th, you have to get good marks in schools.
Yeah.
And that's the same ideology for every parent.
Yeah, that's true.
They will just pay for
Across
the
the
school
board.
fee and tuition fee. That's it and nothing else. क्योंकि
Yeah.
pass होना है.
Yeah.
Correct? But I used to hide from them and used to create those models. And that further fascinated me. I was curious that like if the market is falling, if the market is rising, why that's happening?
Why that's up?
With stocks are making it rise, with stocks are making it fall. Why? How? All those underlying concepts, terminologies, complexities that made me so curious about it.
Yeah.
I become so passionate about it. So here my journey started, maybe from my father's indirect or direct input, guidance. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
but
that was
then
my
you-
journey.
On the way, you found your passion.
Correct.
There are a lot of things that I actually want to delve deeper into that you've mentioned, especially things about like how important it is to build curiosity in students today rather than just like, putting them in a certain stream and be like, you have to like do well there. But before that, I just want to get back to your current role at JP Morgan Chase and Company. Like, what does your current role intake? What are your responsibilities like? And then we also want to know what your typical day looks like.
Okay, so that's a very common question. Like
Yeah.
people tend to ask me this question multiple times.
Yeah.
Right? So like to all my audience, right? So I'm currently working as a multi-asset investment specialist at JP Morgan Chase and Company. And just to discuss about my role, so I'm looking over different asset classes because when we talk about a multi-asset approach, we talk about investing into ideally three major asset classes: equities, fixed income, and alternatives. Right?
Yeah.
So my role is morely of a global strategist. I'm trying to track the global markets, developed markets, emerging markets like US, Europe, Japan, China, India, Turkey, Vietnam, Malaysia, etc. Trying to have the best bets into those markets from equity, fixed income, and alternatives perspective.
Nice.
Then I'm trying to guide the client. I'm working with the portfolio manager to assist him that when and why to buy this particular equity in the portfolio, when to buy and sell this fixed income in the portfolio, which alternative to go for, whether to go for a real estate or a private credit, a private debt, a private equity per se. And in turn, I need to provide my commentary that how are these asset classes performing in a global parlance. And I'm going to client calls, I'm interacting with them, I'm telling them that which portfolio is good to invest from. A multi-asset perspective, be it the funds from JP Morgan's perspective or be it some other company's perspective. Because my major aim or the company's major aim is to get that alpha, that exit return over the benchmark.
Yeah.
Right. So that's a bit about my profile.
Perfect. Like all this commentary that you do, is it only exclusively available to your clients or you also have it in public domain that people can go and look out for?
The commentary is available on the public domain also. It's available on freely available public portal of JP Morgan also. It's available on my personal profile also, like on my personal platform on LinkedIn. You guys can go in there, search my name as Maurya Hanspal, and you guys can get to know all the commentaries from a global point of view through a multi-asset perspective.
Nice. And now we want you to tell our audience what a day in the life of an investment banker looks like, because I'm
Correct,
pretty sure
correct.
there are a lot of people out there who also want to pursue a career there. It looks very lucrative, to say the least. Very interesting and fascinating as a career, as a profession. But we are just curious, what time do you wake up? Like, do you do your tea and coffee, or right away get into your emails? When is your first client call? Tell us everything about it.
Great question. So the thing is, the life of an IB person is really very tough. It's hectic, and you need to have to make the most out of it. You need
Yeah.
to maintain all kinds of work-life balances, right? So the thing is, when you are working into an IB, the timings are quite diverse. Like the timings aren't fixed, right? So like for example, in the Indian context, we talk about a 9 to 5 job, correct?
Yeah.
So 9 to 5 is not there like an IB.
There is no such thing. Yeah.
It can be a 9 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Yeah.
It can be a 9 a.m. to 2 a.m.
Wow.
or a 9 a.m. to 9 a.m. sometimes, right? Because the client is asking you something.
Crazy.
You have to cater towards the US request because I'm working towards the US institutional clients. So all the clients are institutionals, all corporates are coming to me. And working on the US time being based out of India is very tough.
Yeah.
Sometimes it becomes working for like 24 hours a day. You have to cater to all the requirements of clients, institutions, your managers, your seniors, your bosses, everyone.
Yeah.
Right? So the day is tough. But if you're enjoying that profile, right? If you like really think that you are like meant for that profile, you have that passion, you have that interest,
Yeah.
then the role can be great for you. But the thing is, people need to maintain the work life balance. And this I also suggest to my audience also. The work life balance is something that you need to maintain for yourself. The company won't be doing for you. People tend to talk about the work life balances. We work for 9 to 5, 5 o'clock छुट्टी हो जाती है, we go back home, sorted, sleeping, relaxing, playing games. That 9 to 5 is just a book of, or just a piece of paper in a book. You need to maintain your own work life balance because the work life balance comes from inside you.
Yeah.
Your seniors, your managers, your bosses like won't be telling you for that thing.
Yeah.
So the life is tough, but maintaining that balance is on you.
Yeah. And you have to make that extra. How do you make your efforts? Like, is it like workouts or hobbies?
Yeah.
Anything?
So like what do? I preferably my working hours on paper are from 2:30 p.m. to 12 a.m. Okay. So I log in at 2:30 and majorly out of at least 4 days, 4 out of 5 days in a week, I try to log off at 12 a.m. dot. Right. So like even if there is some extra commitment, though those extra commitments will come, they would be quite rare, right? They would be coming at least I would say 10 or 12 times a month, maybe, right? But the thing is, if I'm logging off at 12 a.m. ideally, right? And I believe I can log in back early the next day, correct? Maybe a 1:30 p.m., maybe a 12 p.m. Or I can log in early to log off early or on time. So that's a good way to maintain a work-life balance. Because some people tend to log in at 2:30 p.m. only, correct? And they tend to stretch 12 a.m.,
Stretch,
1
yeah.
a.m., 2 a.m.
Just
Right?
okay.
So the best logic is to go back on time and try to come in early, be it 1:30 p.m. or like 12:30 p.m. Try to finish up the previous day commitments.
Correct.
Because India is ahead of US in terms of timings, correct?
Yeah.
So
So,
if
yeah.
they have given me a request at 2 a.m. at night, then I can come back early next morning at 12:30 p.m.
Yeah.
Can finish it off and give it them, right?
Yeah.
So that is one thing. And regarding my hobbies and passions, the thing is I love to swim, I love to dance,
Okay.
right? And I have been passionate about such stuff like during my school times and college time, right? I was a national level swimmer.
Wow.
I went for like international competitions as well in world games,
Wow.
like for swimming. But due to all this job and all this venture, like all these things came to end. COVID was like one such reason, right?
Yeah.
Because it ended everything,
Yeah.
right? So maintaining a good work-life balance through like logging in on time or early and logging off on time and going towards some good productive sports, especially swimming, or like
Yeah.
sometimes I tend to go for a jogging. Sometimes I play tennis, basketball, badminton to keep myself fit and keep my mind active.
Yeah.
Because if your mind is active, like you'll be able to work hard.
Yeah, I think physical activity and exercise is one thing that I personally also am quite disciplined about, in the sense that I personally feel that you have to kind of block it off on your calendar in a
Correct,
way,
correct,
right?
correct.
Because that's not negotiable. Like, just because you have a lot of work, you can't skip something so basic as taking care of physical fitness. And I've realized that having that place there, it makes me less stressed also, because I know my run is or swim is coming up. I'll get that break. And during that time, by all means, you can think about your problem solutions, whatever your work is about, and you come back very refreshed.
Correct,
Just makes you so much more productive, right? So I think that's a very helpful input for our audience there, and anyone who in a very hectic job, especially founders, if you're watching, please take care of your physical health, and that definitely leads to having better mental health as well. So yeah, let's get back to your coaching. Tenure that you had, like training students, about 15,000 of them. You have trained them in equity research, financial modeling, valuation. What are the most common challenges you see students facing? What do they bug you most about?
The most common challenge, like which I feel, is the practical understandability of the concepts. Because in most of the curriculums, like which we tend to learn from outside,
Yeah.
you just tend to learn the conceptual knowledge. There's a theoretical aspect.
Yeah, theory. Yeah.
Correct. And the students come to me and they say, sir, like when we landed to that particular job profile, the work was entirely different.
I think, yeah, we've all had that experience. Like, we're so academic focused.
Correct.
We forget how to apply. I mean, we don't even know how to apply for a start.
Perfectly right. So it's like it's important to bridge that gap, like between the conceptual knowledge and the practical world.
Right.
So what I am doing, I'm trying to bridge that gap between the conceptual knowledge and the practical world.
Okay.
So students complain to me thousands of times, the work is entirely different, हम क्या कर रहे हैं, हमें कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा, right? So the thing is, if you aren't able to apply that concept practically, you won't be able to remember it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because correct, because like most of the CFAs also come to me, right? They have cleared CFA just for the sake of clearing it. They just have that degree and a charter holder.
Yeah.
But when you tend to ask them the concepts, they are just blank.
Yeah.
Because they've just cleared the degree
Yeah.
just for the sake of having that name,
Yeah.
XYZ, comma, CFA, right? Or having that job, right? But they come in the interview process and they're just blank. But a person who's just an MBA or a graduate has a knowledge of finance and has a practical applicability of it is doing better than CFAs in the market currently. People are working in such top tier companies, be it JP, be it Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, HSBC, McKinsey, like all these consulting firms as well. Graduate people or MBA people having far better knowledge than CFAs, right?
Right.
So I'm trying to address that complaint ideally, right? And there's a major complaint from all the students. कि practical knowledge नहीं मिल रही है, right? And that is where I help them train, I help them bridge that gap between that conceptual aspect and the practical aspect.
Right. So, what do you think the CFAs, aspirants or like qualified CFAs can do differently? I mean, one is obviously join your courses, mentoring programs, but how should they approach their qualifications so they don't face this challenge, like on an individual level?
So all the CFAs ideally, like who have done this curriculum, this whole degree, CFA level 1, 2, 3, and all the smart people in the world. So my advice to them is bridge that gap like between the concept and the practical knowledge. For example, so like just a basic kind of an example like for everyone. So for example, if you're learning about portfolio management, right? So people tend to learn about this concept conceptually. They have those books and study material. What's a portfolio, right?
Yeah.
How to buy, how to sell, like when to pick up the stocks, when to sell off the stocks, right? So all these kinds of portfolio attribution analysis and like all these things are like there in the market, correct?
Yeah.
But how to do it practically, right? So that is something you tend to learn when you try to manage your own portfolio, either
That's very
directly or
right.
indirectly.
Absolutely. I
Right.
think that's
So even like
crucial.
you are also providing like good services, right, to
Yeah.
manage people's money, right? So Cash Advice is like one great platform for that purpose,
Yeah.
correct? So if they're managing their own portfolio or trying to understand how a fund manager is managing the portfolio, they'll try to understand that knowledge,
Yeah.
that background of it. So I suggest to people, like for example, like if you have invested into an XYZ app, right? Because nowadays we have the zero commission brokerage apps, right?
Yeah.
Go to that platform, open your demat account, see your portfolio. What changes the fund manager has made in your portfolio over the past year or month.
Yeah.
If this stock was there the previous month, why this stock is not there this month, right?
Analyze the things actually happening in the world and your portfolio.
Correct. There might be a sector rotation. The macro environment might not be so good or too good for that stock, right? If the weightage of that stock has been increased or decreased, then why?
Yeah.
We'll try to understand such stuff. So for example, if a stock X is there in a portfolio and the weightage of that stock has increased, then why? You'll try to understand that stock, the sector that stock belongs to, and the market in general.
Right.
So we'll try to understand why the portfolio manager is buying and selling those stocks or increasing or decreasing the weightage for those particular stocks.
Right.
So backend system like tends to be complex because they have those systems and screens to buy and sell. But at least having a 50% bridged between the conceptual and the practical thing can help them out. And same goes for trading, like build the futures and options. Start with a small amount, take that risk, loss करो, market में गिरो.
फिर
It's good
सीखो.
to fall, then सीखो. Correct.
Yeah, very true. I think 100% agree with what you're saying, and we always tell, we also do a lot of sessions, corporates, colleges, and we always tell people the smallest amount that you can start an SIP with is really 10 rupees. Start with 10 rupees, 50 rupees. That much you can, like, you spend on food and drinks without even thinking. Start with that, and only when you get the feel of it, when you dip the toes, then you will, really understand what all this is about, and it will be much less overwhelming than it sounds today. If you just look at all this finance jargon and listen to YouTube videos or podcasts, but that is only helpful to a certain extent. After that, you will have to do it yourself. So I think that is something that I would also advise my audience to actually go and dip their toes in whatever investments that interest them, right? So here is the Easter egg, guys.
Hello guys. So like one question to everyone, to all the people who watch this podcast. My question to people is, what's your view on a global market scenario from a multi-asset perspective? That is, which asset class to invest into in the current market environment from an equity, fixed income and alternatives perspective. If you get closer to the answer, you guys get an exclusive opportunity for my mentorship. A 2-month mentorship, 1 hour on a weekend. See you guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Maurya, for this very generous offer. So guys, please go ahead, do your research and comment on this video your perspective on the question Maurya just asked, and do not miss this chance to win this 2 months of mentorship with Maurya himself. Now, you have a venture of your own, Motivational Monetary Fundas. Tell us what was the motivation behind the Motivational Monetary Fundas, and how is it coming along?
That's a perfect question. Like to start with the motivation aspect.
Yeah.
Right, because the thing is, it's my venture. It's by the name of Motivational Monetary Fundas. So the motivational aspect is basically to motivate people and empower people in their careers.
Right.
The people should be like motivated and empowered to do like whatever they want to do. A person from any class of society, a rich person, a mediocre person, a poor person. He should be empowered, and I believe in empowering such people. Everyone in my life, I feel, and I get that opportunity or chance to empower those guys, I give my 100%. So that was the contribution of this word motivational.
Okay.
Then we have the monetary. So as the name suggests, it's finance.
Yeah.
Paise ka gyan, the knowledge of money.
Right.
Correct? And fundas is simply the knowledge.
Yeah.
So motivational to empower people, and monetary finance, and fundas is knowledge. So here I'm trying to empower people to be like financial literate, to achieve their financial freedom, to have knowledge about personal finance, to have knowledge about like whichever field of investment they want to go into, or finance, be it a research field, a portfolio management field, a valuation field, right? So all these things I'm trying to assist the guys into, and I'm providing the placement training also to those guys. Like if they want to land into a such corporate, then like what type of questions can be asked to them. So all those kinds of mock trainings goes along. And we also try to help the people get placed into their dream companies, be it the top investment banking firms or tier 2, tier 3 firms. So that's my one part of it. And my second part of it is, which I suppose really people know about it. The thing is, I've created a specific section, right, for the people who are not towards that rich class or a medium class category, maybe a below poverty line people, or the people who cannot afford quality education. Because I've seen people, they come to me, they ask me, sir, we want to study. Because they might be able to study till class 12th, right? They might be able to study till the part of the graduation also, because in public colleges, the graduation fee is less, right?
Yeah.
In private colleges, it's in lakhs and lakhs.
Yeah.
But if someone wants to do MBA, right, the fees is 20 lakhs, 25 lakhs, 30 lakhs. And every year, these educational institutions are increasing the fee by a higher margin. What they should do in that case? They come to me, sir, what should we do? We want to study higher, right? And the best chance that they get in that case is to take an education loan. Correct?
Yeah.
And even the banks aren't ready to give them that loan. because their parental CIBIL score is not good,
Yeah.
right? Their mother or father is not so much good in terms of the financial background. The CIBIL score is not good. But if a person from such category of a family, right? Because हम बोलते हैं ना कि a person is born in a family sometimes that changes the entire future of that particular
Yeah.
family.
Yeah.
If that person is there and he wants to change that entire future of the family, वो family को यहाँ से यहाँ पे ले जाना चाहता है, then what's wrong in that?
Yeah.
And those banking professionals, those loan guys, they talk so rudely to those people. अब जाइए, अब यहाँ से निकल जाइए.
That's a
So what do
shame.
I do? I try to help those people out. Now here I'm not saying I'm able to afford all their fees of like 20 lakh, 30 lakh, but whatever best I can do with my contacts in banks, with my personal, I would say the money which I earn from my job or business, a certain proportion and a quantum of that I tend to give to such students, to such people in my life who are like really needy. And of course, in future, when this becomes really big, I'll be more than happy to give them interest-free education loans as well.
Wow, that's very noble, and it's like really motivated me. Are there like your microfinancing platforms to assist this group of population?
Yeah, they are the microfinance guys, but again, they have their own XYZ reasons not to give. Because again, they have a certain limit, right? That we can just give up to 5 lakhs or 6 lakhs. So the government is coming up with like varied schemes also, and the government is supporting such people, but that will take time,
Yeah,
right? So if certain thing can be developed from my end,
yeah,
and people can join me as well in such a thing, right?
Yeah.
Because it's a good cause, ideally, to empower people, especially those who aren't able to afford that kind of education in future, right? So guys can join me, and we guys can come in together towards that section of my business, and we can support everyone in this world.
yeah. I would really urge the audience to reach out to you personally for this noble job. I would also like to reach out to you personally for that. So yeah, I think you're a multifaceted person. I think each question is showing a different aspect of you, and I'm kind of at loss of questions now. But I wanted to get into your next very interesting initiative, which is a book you have authored, Driving Through the Rule Book of an Investor, if I'm
Correct,
mentioned
correct.
correctly. What's that book about? When did you author it? How did this thought come about in such a short period of time after your MBA, like 5-6 years of experience? You have gone into finance education. There's so much of charitable aspect to your work. You have done investment banking. First of all, I want to know, how did you find the time to write a book? Right? You've also done some national level swimming championship things. So yeah, like tell us more about that.
Yeah. So my book, like for the audience, it is Driving Through the Rulebook of an Investor. And the book talks upon fundamental and technical analysis in detail. And the book is ideal for anyone who wants to start up a career in finance. A BBA person, MBA person, CFA, or just a simple graduate, right? So how did I came up with this idea? So like again, it was during the time of my MBA.
Okay.
अब now like you might wonder, MBA ने इसको बहुत कुछ करा दिया.
I know. People will be flocking
Correct,
to that MBA
correct,
school
correct.
now.
So people would be going to us, see, MBA में क्या हो रहा है? Like in this particular college, right? So this
Yeah.
guy is writing books, वो ये सब कर रहा है, right? The thing was, I wrote a research paper,
Okay.
and that was like during the time of my internship,
Yeah.
right, in my first year of MBA, right? And that was again on like fundamentals and technical analysis, on valuations and modeling, right? So that was a short research paper. It wasn't a thousands and thousands of pages, might be just 100 pages in general, right? And I published that in my college, right, at IBS.
Okay.
Okay. So I thought if I could write 100 pages as a research paper, and I was the only student in my batch that time who wrote a research paper.
Wow.
Because the role of writing a research paper is a task of the PhD people,
Yeah.
the PhD faculties
Correct.
and PhD students.
Yeah.
Right. Though I didn't get any degree for PhD out of that, right? Because I was doing like this my MBA. But the thing was, I thought that if I could write such things, then why couldn't I write a book out of that? Right? Because again, like people used to talk in the markets because there are like multiple sources to start their journey, like in finance.
Yeah.
But that one starting point,
Exactly. The one starting point.
correct? Because different book starts with different curriculums, different chapters, and different intensities, right? But everyone wants to learn from basic and go towards the most advanced level.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what I started with. I had that ideology. I started with the very basic terminologies and concepts in my book. And as the chapters went passed by, the intensity of that book increased.
Okay.
Simple, medium, advanced.
Right.
Right. So that was something. And I published that book in 2023, initial days. Again, that took approvals, my company's approval also. And of course, I had to be in touch with faculties of my college, and also
Yeah.
the people like who,
Because the research people.
yeah, who try to validate your thesis, your book, right? Because they would be saying that this book is good or bad, like you need to do some changes in this book, right? So all that kind of publication work was in there. So that was a thing. And one thing I would just tell you, I'm a person who hates reading books,
Okay.
right?
Big disclaimers. At least one thing you have not done.
Yeah, right. So
Okay.
that's a big disclaimer I'm telling you. From my school time, I'm telling you, like we used to purchase like big books, right? For like business management, for mathematics books, right? Science, history, Hindi books, like whatever like we used to have. I hated, literally hated to like matlab, read those books.
Yeah.
And how did I used to like solve those numericals? I just used to see formula, numericals, okay, nahi padna. And even like during the time of my MBAs and all, I used to find the best kind of a shortcut to like cover up my syllabus.
Right. Go through
But
summaries and stuff.
yeah, but I believe that my curriculums and courses helped me out like during my MBA, like more of that, right? I'm more of a person like who loves to listen, right? I keep on hearing news and watching news because every day like CNBC, Z Business or the NDTV Finance, they tend to post articles, right? I never read those articles or I read them quite rarely.
Okay.
But I watch the summaries of those articles, audio voices or like video voices, right? And having this contrary, the person like me, he wrote a book.
Yeah, that's what I've been
Correct.
wondering for the past 1 minute or
Correct.
so. That
Still, I
yeah,
was like quite shocked. The person like who doesn't want to read books ideally, and the person is so impatient like reading books. He tries to hear those audio notes, tries to hear those videos, audio videos, and like all those things of those books. Wrote a book. My family was shocked. My parents were shocked
yeah.
because my parents and family got to know when my book got published. I
Nice.
didn't tell them that I'm
Wow.
writing something. From that point of view, time, my mindset changed. Then I started to read books.
Okay.
राइट क्यों एक होता भी है कि खुद बुक लिखी है
तो-
राइट तो अब बुक्स पढ़ना भी शुरू
You
कर
walk
दो
the talk.
करेक्ट
Yeah.
सो स्टार्ट रीडिंग द बुक्स एज वेल दैट इज माय जर्नी
That's
रिगार्डिंग माय
amazing.
बुक
Yeah, like I think that step one thing is very important because that's what our mission at Cashvisory is also give people that start them from step zero. I would say like a lot of our users come to us with having no background. Most, in fact, just this morning I've done a call with one of them, and their first sentence is I've never invested. And then we just have to start from step zero. And I think that's something that is we're very passionate about because just like you feel that this education or empowering people with education and finances is very important. We also feel that everyone should be investing, right? Everyone has the right to build for their future. There is definitely some sort of a gap in the entire system where it's been very restricted to a certain segment, and this segment keeps getting richer, and the middle class population, the low income group, they are kind of sidelined. And we feel that if we can do something to make this large impact, then we would love to devote our lives to that cause. So I think very aligned on our mission there. You have also been a keynote speaker at, I think the audience as well is getting that. Like, how many things are coming up? How many things this guy does? So, you've been a keynote speaker at corporates, at colleges, IIMs, and whatnot. So, you have talked to, I would say, thousands of students, professionals. I would like to know personally, what is today's youth most interested in talking about? What are the topics that interest them and piques their curiosity?
The most important topic is financial freedom.
Financial freedom. All right.
They want financial freedom. They want to retire early, and they want all that money in their pocket.
Early as in how early will that be?
They want it right now. They want it just in a second. That
Immediate
money should come up in their pocket.
Okay.
And that is the thing that's going on. People are like indulging into short-term money-making schemes,
Oh,
like which
yeah.
are mostly scams,
Big problem there.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And there are many people in the market who tend to suggest
Yeah.
you can make 1 crore in a month,
Yeah.
right? There are many people
Unfortunately.
who come. I won't be like naming those guys. They say it's not difficult to make 1 crore in a month, right? You guys can make it, right? You guys can make it. You guys can make 1 crore. Agreed. But through legal ways and those kinds of legitimate ways and efforts, not landing into these short-term money-making schemes.
Yeah.
You might get that 1 crore through those schemes, but the value of that 1 crore will fall so
Yeah.
quickly you will
Yeah.
not even realize,
Yeah.
right? So the students currently they want to have crores and crores of money in their
Quick
pocket,
money. Yeah.
right? I asked them ki like how much money you want, right? They say jitna mil jaye utna kam hai, right? That greediness, that greedy atmosphere, right? Because the Gen Zs and the new people, right, especially the people, I would say, they want money, of course, and to get that money they're becoming too greedy. Correct. So money is the best thing, but the thing is, I would suggest to all my audience and people also, getting money is not bad. You have to earn money. Food, water, clothing, shelter, outing, vacations, family, friends, wife, everything, husband. Like, money, earning money is really good, but that might take time also. You need to be patient.
Yeah.
You need to be consistent.
Yeah.
Right? Some people might make crores of money in just like 20 years of age,
Yeah.
being a YouTuber, a finance influencer. Some people might earn that at a 60 years of age,
Yeah.
at a 50 years of age, right? So all my newbies, everyone has a different journey. Someone does his own venture, a startup. Someone is happy in a job.
Yeah.
Someone is happy in sports. Not to demean anyone, right? Because currently, like, people tend to demean like each
Yeah.
other, right?
Yeah.
They say, startup में कितना कर लोगे, जॉब कितना दे देगी.
Yeah.
Sports,
That's, I think
correct.
that's very wrong because
Very wrong.
you do you. If that's what makes you happy, then that's what it should be, because it doesn't mean that someone who is who is in a certain field and making tons of money, he's a happier person at the end of the day. You don't know.
Completely agreeing with you. Like,
Right.
everyone has a different journey.
Yeah.
If someone is happy in a job, he's happy in a job now.
Yeah.
Let him be.
Let them do the job, right?
If someone wants to take that risk into a venture or a startup,
Yeah.
do a startup or a venture.
Yeah.
People say like India has no future for sports, right? Apart from cricket or weightlifting per se or shooting, right?
Yeah.
And someone wants to make up a career into swimming or like some other sports, they tend to say like no future.
No future. Yeah.
Try bhi mat karo. Why not to give a try?
Yeah.
I recently watched a movie called Chandu Champion.
Okay.
He says Chandu Champion, right? Right, the
Yeah.
correct pronunciation.
Kartik Aaryan.
मुझे champion बनना है.
Yeah.
That person won a gold medal in Paralympic swimming at the end,
Yeah.
right? And that was the first medal India earned in swimming, gold medal,
Imagine. Yeah.
right? So that is the thing. So the thing is, people are wanting for money. They want that money. Like, everyone wants money, but please find that legal and legitimate ways to find that money. Be consistent. Be happy. People are there to support you.
Yeah, I think that's a very good
Yeah.
message for the audience. And I think through this various interactions that you've had with students, you have really gained like a lot of perspective on what a certain age group is drawn to, what they are thinking, what's on their mind. And we'll get into that FIRE movement thing, definitely. That's one topic on the list. But before that, do you remember any interesting interactions through which, you have all these anecdotes that you're talking about? Any interesting interaction from these sessions that you would like to talk about?
Right. See, interesting interactions which I talk about is, see, most of the times, as when I just suggested, like in the previous question, right, about the money making criteria,
Yeah.
how to make that money making thing,
Yeah.
right? So, like, one is that thing. So, not stressing about that much because, like, we talked about that thing. The second thing which people tend to talk about is, or they tend to ask me, what to do in the career. Because the thing is, sometimes your family backgrounds, right, they force you to do a business because they
Yeah.
have a family
Family
business,
business.
right? They say that we have a well settled business, our son and daughter can just go into that business and make some money,
Yeah.
right? Some people, like, what happens, they tend to say that go for a government job.
Yeah.
The government job is a last resort, right? शादी भी अगर करनी है, ठीक है, then government job वाले से करो, right? So that thing is like fading away, like in our generations, right, in the Gen Z generations, but at least in our parents or like great grandparents. So the problem of government job was there,
Yeah.
right? Then they talk about ki if they want to do a job, right? So the parents will force ki job ही करनी है.
Yeah.
Your family doesn't have a business, no sports background, nothing. Do a job only.
Yeah.
Job will make you rich,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Job will make you rich, agreed. But if that particular person is not happy in a job
It
and he
won't.
wants to start a business, then why can't that person become that sole chirag of that family?
Yeah.
Correct?
I think that risk averse mentality parents tend to get into. They may have taken a lot of risks in their own life, but when it comes to kids, and especially like Indian population, they just want the kids to play safe.
Correct.
If there's a family business, just join that and carry
Just join
forward the
that.
legacy. If we are like my family is like typical middle class, go for engineering, medical. These are the things that they.
Correct,
So for them, like entrepreneurship is a new thing in my
Correct,
family.
correct.
Although they are very supportive and I have had enjoyed immense family support, but it's definitely very new. They have have no clue of this. And if I had probably asked them for, choice, I don't think they would have, this choice on the plate for me, right?
Correct.
So, yeah, like when it comes to choosing a career path for students today, is there any advice you would want to give them
Correct. Correct.
in terms of like, how to
Yeah.
handle
Yeah.
this conflict that they have with the earlier generation, right?
Yeah. So I'm saying like when you are in a student life, you are too young, 18 years, 20 years of age,
Yeah.
right? Do what your heart feels like.
Yeah.
I would say like if you want to start up a business, start a business, start a venture.
Try
You
out.
might fail.
Yeah.
You might fail. And everyone fails in a business.
Yeah.
Then they come back once again like with new learnings and new technologies and new things.
Yeah.
And then they start once again.
Yeah.
Be it your business, be it my business. We might have failed multiple times, right? But a startup is still continuing.
Yeah.
We're growing, right? We're trying to make it better.
Yeah.
Because failures teach you that lesson.
Exactly.
So all the students, all the newbies who are here, be it you are from Gen Z or not the Gen Zs, right? The thing is, if you want to start anything of your own and you don't have a family background for businesses or anything, start it up.
Start up.
जो दिल में है उसको बाहर निकालो. Just try to do it. Just start your own business. And at an early age, you guys can take more risk.
Exactly. You have time.
Correct.
To-
Because like once you have a family,
Yeah.
especially kids,
Yeah.
you can't afford to take risk.
Responsibilities, yeah.
The spouse will support you,
Yeah.
right? Because nowadays both the spouses are working,
Yeah.
right? But for kids, you can't take the risk,
Correct.
right?
So student
will-
life, according to you, is the best time, and that's why
Correct.
your MBA has
Correct.
been so productive.
Correct.
You tried
So
everything
it's the
you
best
wanted,
time.
right?
So जो करना है दिल से करो, जो करना है वो करो, right? And like whatever your passion is there, just follow your passion into it, and that will succeed, or that will like make you successful at a point in your career. That is something I would suggest to everyone.
Brilliant. So now coming back to finance, right? How do you or how do investment bankers manage their own money, and what does your portfolio look like?
Okay, how does investment bankers manage their own money?
Yeah. Do you first of all
Again-
get time to like look at your own portfolio, or are you always like, no, I should look at the client's portfolio. That's where I make money. How does that conflict play out?
That's a
first of
tricky
all?
question, and that's a
Yeah.
conflicting question also,
Yeah.
right? The thing is, I guess like majority of my time goes towards managing the client's money itself,
Yeah.
right? If out of 100% of my time, 80% shall be going in like in managing the client's money,
Yeah.
because we want to make that alpha,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If that alpha is negative, the client will come and throw me out of my company.
Yeah.
He will say that this manager or this person is really bad. He made me losses.
Yeah.
Just throw it out.
So obviously,
right?
that's
the thing.
profession
Correct.
dedication you need to have towards
Right.
your clients.
And the remaining 20% I spent towards managing my own portfolio. So towards managing my own portfolio, the thing is, even I have some financial advisors and fund managers ideally,
Okay.
right? Because I do not have time,
Yeah.
right, to spend it to manage my own money, right? So managing my portfolio as a whole through a mutual fund or a PMS scheme ideally, my fund manager is managing that through the different banking organizations that we have. But to pick up individual stocks, so that I'm doing on my own, right? Because stock investing is something that can help you make more money as compared to a mutual fund
Hmm.
if you have the right time,
If
the
you have
right
the-
pick, the right
yeah.
value, or the growth strategy.
Right expertise as well.
Right.
I think that's extremely
Correct.
important.
So like stocks, I tend to pick up on my own,
Hmm.
right? And how my portfolio looks like, since I'm young currently, and hopefully I look as well, right?
Definitely.
So,
No doubt in that.
so the thing is, around 75% of my portfolio is into complete equities,
Okay.
aggressive, right?
75.
And further, like into equities, it's more into mid caps and small caps currently.
Hmm.
So they would be around 60% as a combination of the small cap and mid cap, and 40% as large cap.
Okay.
Till the previous months, it was, I suppose, 70 to 80% small cap and mid caps, and 20% large caps, because we
Wow.
witnessed the small cap and mid cap
Yeah.
rally, right? So just
Yeah.
to maintain a decorum in my portfolio, right? So like just to maintain some decency, I reduce my weightage of small caps and mid caps and increase the weightage of large caps.
Yeah.
And the remaining is fixed income. Fixed income in terms of I'm having some long duration and short duration fixed income securities
Yeah.
to manage my interest rate risk. A bit of 5% is into gold, 5 to 6% is a gold, just to hedge myself against inflation and to get that commodity edge,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, so that's my portfolio looks like.
Yeah. I mean, that's very close to ideal portfolio what we would like to have, right? And like one thing that I've felt myself is that since my job or like my startup revolves so much around finance, it gets very tiring to look at this charts and sheets. So since you do your stock picking yourself, you still do all the fundamental and technical analysis yourself, even for yourself.
Yeah, my phone is open 24/7 with me. Like even if I'm working at my company, my phone and charts are open with me. So like it's my screen on the front and my phone on the side. Okay, this start, this start, this start. Okay, so like on the basis of this thing, I need to take that bet. So like it's more of long-term investing and not trading,
Not
because
trading.
trading takes time. Because
Yeah,
trading,
that has to be full time.
correct.
And that's what we always tell our audience, because like you were talking about quick money. A lot of youngsters today, they feel that koi stock tip mil jaye just before the jump, and then I'm just gonna put all my money in, and then next day I'm gonna be a millionaire. That doesn't happen, guys. And even for doing that trading and actually picking the right kind of stocks at the right time, it's really a full-time job, and it takes a lot of expertise, knowledge, analysis. So leave it to the professionals. We can
Correct.
depend on very, very sophisticated financial instruments on that the professionals handle, and we can still build wealth. We can still get rich
Correct.
with consistency, patience, and
Patience. And completing
discipline.
agree with your point. So
Yeah.
like to all the audience, also like just to add one more pointer, a brownie one. Stay away from all those screenshots of Instagram and Telegram, right?
Yeah.
That say you that a person has made 10x profit, right?
Oh
The
God.
person is sitting in a car, the person has his phone, the second person comes in and asks him that what do you do for a living, right?
Yeah.
So that one, I trade in stocks, right?
Yeah.
It's my app, it's my stocks. The graph is rising so quickly, guys. इतनी जल्दी market भी उठती नहीं है, correct? Profit, 5x, 10x, 20x, 30x.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Lamborghini,
crazy.
Porsche, buildings. Stay away from those people, because nowadays even your Zerodhas or a Grow app, all these screenshots can also be faked,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So stay away from these Telegram groups, Instagram groups who tend to say you
Yeah.
that like we are trying to suggest you to buy this stock and you might well make some money.
Yeah.
So be aware.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much, because we really need our audience to be educated about that. Really go to qualified, certified professionals, registered investment advisors, CFPs. We have all qualified professionals out there. Now, yeah, the FIRE movement that we wanted to speak about, right? You want to achieve financial freedom, I guess all of us at certain point. What does that mean to you? Do you have a certain, age in mind that by this age you need to achieve that? Figure, or become financially free? What does this mean, financial freedom, to you?
See, financial freedom is something which is a very, I would say, contrary topic, right? Because the thing is, what do we understand by financial freedom is something to get that money into your bank account, to your funds or that corpus, so that you need not do anything in your life,
Yeah.
correct? And if someone is not doing anything in their life, like will that person get bored? Of course, yes. You have to do something,
You have to
right?
do
It's not
something.
just getting like 100 crores in your bank account, right? And then just like relaxing in Goa. Throughout your life, your
Yeah.
wife is calling you, your kids are calling you, no worries, kuch chinta hi nahi hai, right? We have 100 crores, I'm financially free, right? So I believe being like financially free, it might mean differently to different people. For me, ideally, financial freedom is something where I have enormous corpus in my bank account and I need not do a job.
Yeah.
I need not work under a boss,
Yeah.
ideally, like to be very frank. I'm straightforward, like into such aspects. But still running my business because I'm passionate about it.
Yeah.
I'm passionate about teaching, mentoring people, guiding people.
Yeah.
So even if I'm having those 100 crores in my bank account, I'm financially free. I'm not guiding and mentoring people, then what's my purpose?
Yeah.
I came to this earth, my purpose was to mentor people, to guide people. My purpose wasn't to be financially free and have that 100 crores.
Yeah. Correct.
Some people have that age of 30 years, some people have 40 years, some people have 25 years, right? But most of the people, I believe, are fooling you out. They just want you to join them through their some own groups, through their some courses or programs,
Yeah.
right? And make you achieve that financial freedom. They tend to say you invest this amount of money every month at this rate of interest and you'll be financially free after 20 years. Does that person has this amount of money to put it like into the market per se? No. A person might be earning a salary of 1 lakh per month. Second person might be earning a salary of just 50,000 per month.
Yeah. Both of them will have different.
Correct. Some person
needs,
might be having just 10,000 a month.
Yeah.
How can that person invest 10,000 per month for 20 years and get like 1 crore rupees?
Yeah. So definitely, I think everyone's definition has to be very
Correct.
personal. And when it comes to FIRE, which is financial independence, retire early, there's a lot of focus on that retirement, right? And which I completely agree that for me also retirement doesn't mean that I will not do anything. I don't think I can spend a single day doing nothing. You have to do something productive, something you're passionate about. Obviously, my definition of retirement is to retire from a paid job where I have to work for pay, like work under a boss or work for some kind of income.
Exactly.
Should be able to follow my passion and go ahead and do it, even if it's not making me active money or not making consistent money. That's fine. So, like, this whole thing of retiring early, I'm pretty sure you have come across in certain interactions where people I want to retire like in 5 years or 10 years.
Fire.
Fire. Do you think it's a realistic goal for Gen Z?
I would say not completely, but partially.
Partially.
Right.
How do they do that?
And that will take time. Be consistent, be patient. And the thing is, like, even if you are having a smaller salary, upskill yourself, upgrade yourself. Try to have like multiple sources of income. Don't just depend upon a job or a single source of income, ideally. Have multiple sources of income.
Yeah.
Try to start up a small venture. Here, I'm not saying being like Ubers or Olas of the world, right? But at least having a small venture where you guys can earn a side income, right? Upskilling is the best thing, as I just told you, because upskilling is something that can make you a credible source and can make you demand more money for anything in your, like in your life, be it anything, right? Because all these kinds of degrees, your curriculums, and all these things like which you tend to learn from outside, they tend to upskill you. They tend to make you more confident into your particular field. It can be finance, marketing, HR operations, anything,
Yeah.
right? So upskilling is the key. Focus towards upskilling. The money will come along. People focus on money and not upskilling.
Yeah.
They say ki the money will come and then we'll spend upon some upskilling or like then we'll go out somewhere, right? When money will come now, you won't be spending upon upskilling. Guys will be spending upon escalating your own businesses, your expansions, or going out on trips, buying luxury
Enjoying,
cars, vehicles, fulfilling your dreams, your wife's dreams, your husband's dreams, your children's dreams, your parents' dreams, right? So upskilling is the key. 3 years में एक line थी, क्या line थी कि मतलब the people were like running after jobs and jobs like in that college, right?
Yeah.
तो like engineering college के पीछे भाग रहे थे, jobs. So like Mr. Amir Khan told, excellence के पीछे भागो, right? Focus towards excellence. Success तो झक मार के आ जाएगी. Correct.
काबिल बनो, कामयाबी झक मार के पीछे भागेगी. Something like that. I'm so proud of
काबिल बनो,
myself.
कामयाबी तो ऐसे आ जाएगी.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
तो काबिल बनना is upskilling.
Yeah.
Right? Success will come along. It might take time. And also to all the Gen Zs, don't compare yourself like with your peers and like other people.
Yeah. Big no.
Comparison is a big high.
Yeah.
My friend is working at this company. He's having a package of this, but I'm still searching for jobs. That person gets like demotivated.
Yeah.
Right? Why to get demotivated? You might have a different journey in your life.
Yeah.
Why to compare yourself with others?
Yeah.
So that's one thing.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that. That's very helpful, I think, for the audience. I want to come to this very interesting question now, which is about this whole finance industry. What is one industry fact that is there, that exists, but not spoken out loud?
The thing is, guys, we all talk about cooperation, right?
Yeah.
To be like growing along all together towards uplifting everyone. But does that cooperation exist in reality? Be it any country, like India or US, right? It might be a controversial tone as well. But the thing is, if you're talking about cooperation, that cooperation should be real.
Yeah.
Right? What do I say in all my sessions? I say this competition in the world should be replaced by cooperation. Because if people can come along all together, they can grow along all together, our economy, our India will be so ahead, right?
Yeah.
Because the thing is, I've seen the people in the same field. Like, for example, if a person is into a marketing field per se, like, take it like for example, those two guys in the same role, same job, right? I agree the competition is there, right? Because everyone wants a promotion, right? And like all these things are there. But if that kind of competition, be it a business, be it a job, if that can be replaced by cooperation, both the people can succeed, the entire team can succeed, the entire organization can succeed. Because I have also seen through my personal experiences also, in my prior experiences, maybe of a job or also of my friends' experiences, everyone is bound to let down each other.
Yeah.
They just want to have a single mistake, and that single mistake outrides your hundreds of right things, right? So be together, try to uplift everyone, try to empower everyone, try to motivate everyone. Because what do I do, like in my team also, like in my company, like in which I'm working, like be it my startup venture and be it the job like in which I'm working in currently, I try to motivate people all around.
Yeah.
I try to assess them कि भाई तुम्हें कोई भी डाउट है, कोई भी क्वेश्चन है, come back to me, ask me.
Yeah.
So that's my passion towards like teaching also, that comes in and highlights it. But the thing is that if that person is doing something wrong, right, I won't be escalating that thing as a public matter,
Yeah.
right? That
Yeah.
you are wrong, that person is wrong, just because I'll get that promotion and feedback from my boss.
Yeah.
Some things can be handled personally. I'll motivate him. I'll tell him क्या करना है, क्या नहीं करना.
Right.
So if all these things can be done in a cooperative way, that competition can be removed and cooperation can come together, the people can strive towards excellence. So guys, in your life, be it you are a Gen Z, because Gen Z is a very term like I've been using like multiple times now. Be it a Gen Z, you are a corporate, you are an experienced guy. Try to replace that competition with cooperation and support each other.
That's very profound, and I feel that I've always believed that if you grow together, you grow so much more, right? We always say that you are a product of the 5 people you hang out with, or something to along those lines. So only when you support each other and you collaborate together, that's when the people that you are around, they will be benefiting, and that's how actually you benefit individually as well, because the entire ecosystem is good, right? So that's I think that's very applicable in today's world, and especially in the world of social media, where there's just so much of competition out there, and you're just waiting for that one person to just like fall a little bit here and there, and then you're
And
like,
then
okay,
the
now
after-
no, somebody else's downfall does not get you higher. It's your own effort does, right? So okay, one last question before we get to this very interesting segment of rapid fire. One last question would be, any advice that you would like to give to the young population here, for whoever is looking for a career in finance?
Okay, so guys, if you are passionate about finance, to all my audience currently, try to understand all those financial concepts thoroughly, conceptually, theoretically, and try to apply those things practically in your life. That will take time, but that will make your concepts super strong, but fundamentals very strong. My second advice is try watching market news on a daily basis. You have different platforms, right? Like CNBC or Z Business, like even our platform like also offers such services like you and
Right.
me,
Yeah.
correct? So the thing is, try to read, analyze, or watch those videos that will try to keep you updated on the daily market scenarios. Because most of the commonly asked questions in the interview is they tend to ask you about like what happened yesterday in the market, right? So you
Right.
need to be very well aware about the global markets. If you guys are planning to build up a career into top investment banking firms, into multinational firms, be it Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, you need to know about the global markets, not just the Indian markets.
Definitely.
Watch
Yeah.
Bloomberg TV,
Yeah.
right? Watch CNBC US, right? So be aware of all those marketing things like which are happening in the market from a stock market point of view. Try to understand all those concepts conceptually, like bridging the gap like between the conceptual knowledge and the practical knowledge.
Practical
Two
knowledge.
things. The third one is be curious and inquisitive. The thousands of questions you ask, people might feel that you are a foolish guy, right? But after 5 years and 10 years down the line, the people will feel the question was right and the person was quite intelligent.
Yeah.
दिमाग था बंदे में,
Yeah.
right? So be curious, be inquisitive, try to ask as many questions as you can. It should not always relate to your pertain of field. So like for example, if I am a finance guy, my questions will not pertain only to finance. It might pertain to life skills. It
Yeah.
might pertain to what's happening in front of me. अगर ये चीज़ ऐसे हो रही है, ऐसे ऐसे क्यों नहीं हो सकती,
Correct.
राइट?
Yeah.
और अगर ऐसे हो सकती है तो वैसे क्यों नहीं कर रहे?
Correct.
Correct?
Correct.
So that's the thing. You need to be curious because you need to survive in this corporate, not the corporate world, but this is in this entire world.
Yeah.
The world is dynamic. The world is changing
Very fast.
very fast.
Yeah.
So that are my 3 advices. And the last one I would say, just focus upon your own personal health and mental health.
Yeah.
Focus upon some sports. Focus towards some meditation because some people like prefer towards like going towards meditation and yoga.
Yeah.
The meditation and yoga is not always compulsory, but if that suits you, then go for that. For
Yeah.
some people, like excessive activity suits, like playing sports or going to gym. If that suits you, go for that. Be positive, be happy, and start to avoid some kind of negative talks around you.
Yeah,
Be happy.
happiness and positivity.
Positivity.
All the way. Okay, so now we have come to this very interesting segment, which is rapid fire. There's
Oh.
going to be questions. Come on, you will ace it, I'm pretty sure. So I'm just going to go through the questions and you'll be giving very rapid answers to that. So let's start. Books or podcasts on finance?
Podcast on finance.
Yeah, but you did say that you started reading books, so that's a
Yeah,
win.
started reading, but still the preference is
Preferences
videos.
podcast. Okay, what's your go-to productivity hack?
I go to productivity hack ideally is, I would say, saying positive things about me to myself every morning.
Nice.
So like whenever I wake up in the morning, I tend to say certain like positive things to me. I'm the best. I can do it. I can do it alone. God is always with me. I have a lot of money in my life.
Yeah.
I'm helping people out.
Yeah.
I'm positive. I'm courageous. I'm energetic. I'm the
Yeah.
smartest guy around.
Yeah.
So these things tend to motivate me.
Yeah.
And then I can just outleash on my work.
That's nice. I mean, and then of course you become productive, right? So that works perfectly. Best piece of financial advice that you've ever received?
Best piece of financial advice I ever received. It was ki save more, spend less, but if you are saving more, channelize the saving towards investments.
I think that you've summed it up perfectly well for the entire podcast. And what would be your alternative career if not finance and education?
I would be an Olympic swimmer. I
We
always
missed out
wanted
on
to
an
be,
Olympic
but I
winner.
missed that. Yeah.
That's amazing. What's the most challenging aspect of your job currently?
Is managing multiple client requirements at one single time. Okay, multiple requests for like one fund at the same time.
At the same
Whom to
time.
cater to whom and when and how. Why?
Right.
That's the thing.
Describe your Monday in one word.
Very boring.
There were two words. I could feel the intensity of it. Okay. Fundamental or technical analysis?
Fundamental analysis.
What advice would you give to a 16-year-old Mourya?
Do whatever you want to do and focus towards your passion, because at that point of time I wanted to land into sports, right? So that was my first passion anyways,
Okay.
right? Apart from that, I had the passion of teaching, right? So that's my new passion, like over these past 3-4 years.
You have developed
But always like in my like initial days, I had the passion of being a sports person. So 16-year guy को मैं बोलता, just leave everything,
Do
पढ़ाई वढ़ाई
sports.
सब छोड़ दे, go to sports.
Yeah.
And Bangalore is a location for swimming. You know,
Yeah. But you were in Delhi.
I got multiple opportunities to come to Bangalore,
Okay.
like for making up my career. You
But
have
now
all,
you're here.
yeah, you have all the great folks here, like for swimming.
Okay. I think good info for the audience looking to get into swimming and sports. Okay. One habit that changed your life.
One habit that changed my life. Again, so that's talking like positive, being positive, staying positive, and saying good
That's-
words to me. That changed my life completely.
I think that's something we can all bring into practice whenever we face self-doubt.
Definitely.
Okay. What's the most preferred way for you to be contacted? WhatsApp texts or calls? Directly calling?
No, WhatsApp text first.
WhatsApp text first.
I
Yeah.
can schedule time and get
on
back
the
to you.
same page on that. Like when I randomly receive calls, even if it's my friend, I get so flustered. Why is this person calling me? Right? Okay. That's all for our segment today. So thank you so much for being here. It was a complete pleasure hosting you, and there was so much to learn, getting to know you better. So I'm sure our audience also enjoyed. There were so many messages. I feel the audience would have definitely benefited a lot. So stay tuned, guys. Thank you for watching. Do like, subscribe, and share. And if you have found out our Easter egg, then you also stand a chance to win that giveaway that we spoke about earlier. So thank you so much.